Hey guys, this is Crazy Sean DX, and welcome to another rendition of Praise Appraisal, where I determine if something is worth the praise or not worth the craze. Today we're looking at a game called Neversong, made by the one guy known as Thomas Brush, who apparently doesn't understand why J.K. Rowling is being chastised.
Y'all have heard of Pinstripe, right? Yeah, Tom made that one too. I'm not gonna lie, I've never played it, and the most I know was from a Game Grumps playthrough of only part of the game, but it seemed like a game that was made to mess with the player in its unique art style, unsettling atmosphere, and the fact that Jacksepticeye has a role in it. The Irish will come for us all. So after the success of Pinstripe, a Kickstarter was made for what I guess is a sort of standalone sequel or something, that originally was called Once Upon a Coma. However, while it was successfully funded, it took almost a full 2 years longer to get out, likely due to varying complications with development. It even got renamed to Neversong and is finally seeing release today. Though, is this game able to live up to the expectations that Pinstripe brought before it?
Well, we're here to find out. Also, special thanks to Serenity Forge and Atmos Games for sending the code. I appreciate that very much. Without further ado, this is Neversong.
So the game starts you off with being a little kid whose run cycle is just the stuff of magic. This is basically the intro of the game, but it shows what you are to expect once you fail the puzzle in this level. I somehow managed to fail it at most 3 times, and things got more upsetting to look at as time went by. And then you wake up, and the game begins. You get to encounter a bunch of the kids as friends, and they remind you of what initially happened. Basically, you are Pete. That's P-E-E-T. No idea why they swapped the letters like that. Pete is an orphan who was usually alone and is considered a weak, until he met the literal sunshine of his life in Ren, a very outgoing and optimistic character that you've probably seen in a few other forms of entertainment media, so she's probably gonna get axed off, isn't she? When playing together one day, a demonic being known as Dr. Smile steals her away, and the shock and fright from it sent Pete into a coma. It's alluded to that it's been weeks since your coma, or days, maybe days, I don't know, I get mixed signals easily. The grown-ups, including the kid's parents, went out to search for Ren but never returned, so you know something's up right away and you have to be the one to help save the day. So this game is more of a puzzle, platformer, / mini Metroidvania / action exploration game, requiring you to solve puzzles to progress through the game, usually with some abilities unlocked over time as a result of playing songs on a piano in Ren's home. These songs are largely gotten as a result of a boss encounter from the only 4 bosses in the game. Speaking of the bosses, this game gets freaking dark. No, really, they even pointed out in the beginning that people who are suffering should reach out for help.
Okay, look, I understand why you're doing this and how you're going about it, and I appreciate that very much, but here's the thing. Some of us are unable to reach out because our depression is too much to handle. Like, we don't want to be burdens on people, and even if you assure us otherwise, we usually need you to reach out to us when we end up having depression issues. Seriously. Especially with, school systems that don't do anything about when you're goddamn bullied. Again, I get where you're coming from. That's perfectly fine. But, again, not everyone is going to be able to reach out. So when you say reach out for help or tell them to call the National Suicide Hotline, you really need to understand that sometimes we need you to reach out to us. We need you to actually care enough to freaking check up on us every now and then. If we're not seeming alright, then maybe you should check up on us once in a while, twice in a while, thrice in a while even. Don't just leave it up to us, and if we end up losing the depression, maybe, just maybe, you should have just done something about it. So instead of just putting the burden entirely on us even further, maybe you should just help us out as well. Seriously, sorry. Just let's go back to the funnies, right? There are no funnies to be found in this disturbing mind of one Thomas Brush.
Except for this part where one kid wrote in their diary in a gentlemanly aspect about why Ren is dating Pete instead of him, bitching like he's one of those milady fake nice guy types, and then you see that he owns a fedora. I like that, that's funny. Also, the hat is supposed to be a trilby. Why are we still having this conversation? Anyway, as the game progresses, things start to look like they're falling apart, with some grown-ups now being psychotic knife-wielding murderers, and some parental figures turning into monsters themselves, showing that something about all of this just still isn't quite right. From one mom being a centipede to a granny being a three-testicled bird.
I can't believe that I actually had to both type out that phrase and utter it out loud.
To whatever this dad became, I'm still not entirely sure. Along the trail, you are further taunted by the nefarious Dr. Smile, who, by the way, mostly kidnapped Ren so that he could eat her. Yeah, this is just upsetting. This is fine. I think the one thing this game has going for it, more so than the art style and more so than the message they're conveying about youth and learning to grow up and even accept loss, is the atmosphere. The environments help make the atmosphere, especially when everything starts to fall apart. Some of which make you wonder if Pete is even still in a coma at all. Oh, but I will say this. There are collectibles in coma cards that are usually either info stuff or they change something about your appearance. I chose to keep the card on that gives my fairy friend the rainbow trail. Pride never ends, bitch!
Besides, I never really got a response from the publisher or the developer in terms of whether I could have mentioned spoilers or not, so yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say about Neversong. Sorry about there not being many funnies. This game just, made it hard to really do that, but still, how much praise do I think this is worth?
Personally speaking, I highly recommend you check this game out. The visuals are great to look at, it controls well, the upgrades you get are pretty great, the story is confusing when you get to the big parts, but overall this game is well worth your money, and I'm likely going to get it on Switch too. Just make sure you aren't too of the faint of heart or have any major issues with stuff like traumatic loss or unsettling imagery before playing it, because again, this shit gets dark.
I'm dead serious about Mr. Brush not understanding why J.K. Rowling was getting chastised, by the way. I got a Love is Love t-shirt just to show the point with that. Seriously, do more research, man.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, maybe click like to show your support. But if you really loved it, subscribe and click the bell for more of this content. Were you disappointed a bit by Pokemon's DLC? Me too, but I opted to talk about a much more disappointing Pokemon game last time, which you can see in the description below, as well as the latest upload in the card that'll come up whenever. I also have a gameplay archive channel called CSDX Gameplay if you want to check it out, even if uploads are sparse there. I also rarely stream on Twitch, which you can check out too. Plus, if you really want to help support the channel, and are able to, there's a Patreon that I have, where your name will go up in the credits here for as little as $1. Other options include the $5 tier with early viewings and $10 tier, where you will get a verbal shoutout at the end of this video. Each video. I'm sorry, I don't know words well. Currently, we don't have any to shout out right now, but you can be one of those people. Of course, you don't have to do any of that as it's entirely optional. Anyway, sorry for the longer outro. I'll try to keep these shorter for you guys next time. Take care, be safe, Black Lives Matter, and please remember to stay awesome. Bye now.